Hi everyone, thanks so much for watching. Today I want us to talk about oral care and dental health because it's so much more important than we could ever understand. Basically, what made me realize this was my own personal experience that, let's start it off with the story. When I was about 10 years old, I had a lot of cavities at that point in my life. I just didn't have good oral care routines. I didn't realize the importance of it, of course. My parents did, but maybe I was a rebel. I don't know what happened. But basically, I had amalgam fillings in my teeth. And what we know, what science shows, is that amalgam is 50%, about half mercury. Mercury, we know, is a neurotoxin, and having that mercury in my tooth was basically bad. Don't put mercury in your children's teeth. And even though even though the dentist's offices are still doing it today, it's one of the most toxic things that could be put in our body. Every time we eat and chew and even breathe, we are releasing these vapors straight into our bodies, straight into, for a woman, it gets accumulated in the fat tissues, which are close to our breasts, maybe thyroid, and then maybe the brain. So taking those amalgam fillings out, I knew was very important. So about 6 years ago, I finally had the wherewithal, basically, to take the amalgam fillings out and get them replaced with a higher quality filling. I did this about 5 or 6 years ago, and in the last 6 months it kind of started bugging me again. About 6 weeks ago, I finally got around to going to the dentist to get it checked out, and he said, yeah, you know what, let's just remove the filling because it's probably just an old filling. Does that make sense? I don't know. You probably just need to replace it, and so that's what we did. This was about 6 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago, I started having intense pain in the same tooth. So all of this is revolving around the same tooth right down here. Intense pain to the point that I couldn't really eat, I couldn't really sleep, and so that happened for a good 12 hours or so. And then the next day I went to the dentist and I said, hey, let's check this out. I don't know what's going on, but this tooth just got filled 4 weeks ago. What's going on here? What can we do? We did an x-ray and it showed an infection, and the dentist said, okay, there's an infection under there. This tooth has already been filled a couple of times. Let's numb you up. Let's do a root canal and it'll all be good. And he's like getting ready to numb me up, and I go, hold up. I don't want a root canal. He basically insisted on giving me a root canal, and I basically resisted. I said I'd rather have the tooth extracted, because what we've seen is that root canals can host basically like a dormant infection underneath, which that infection, if it gets worse, can spread down into other areas. For women, it's very strong. There's a very strong correlation between root canals and breast cancer, and of course it can go into other areas of our bodies. So I said, I don't want the root canal. And he said, all right, well, I'm not doing an extraction. So I said, okay, well, that's a clear disagreement. I basically left with this bill that said my root canal was going to be about $1,500. And I said, I don't really want to spend $1,500 on a root canal that has the potential of giving me breast cancer or other symptoms that I don't really want to deal with. So I left, and this is the same bill, and this is what I did with it. I was walking out of the office and I said, okay, what can I do? And I wrote down all of these things, literally all of these things that I can do to fight an infection naturally. What I didn't really realize at that point, I said, you know what, let me just try and fight the infection naturally, do some research, check out the best options. So that's what I've been doing for the past 10 days, and here's my experience. I left there and purchased all of these things that I didn't already have in my pantry. Some of the things that I had already been reaching for was peppermint oil to soothe that inflammation immediately. So I basically had like this lotion on my skin already, and it was a pretty thick lotion. And I literally just dabbed the peppermint oil straight on that jawbone line, and it helped to soothe the inflammation immediately. And trust me, it was a lot of pain. There was swelling. I couldn't barely sleep for a good 3 nights. It was very painful. Another thing I did was the same thing. I just dabbed frankincense oil just directly on that jawbone line, and it helped to soothe the inflammation. And these two things in itself, I feel like really helped me sleep through those sleepless nights. The link to these oils, I'd love it if you supported me through this. These oils are something that you should always have in your pantry anyway, because there's a zillion other benefits, not just anti-inflammatory. But the link for these oils, to get these oils, will be in the link below this video. So I did that. And then I went to the store and I got this kyolic aged garlic extract. I took about 3 of these 3 to 4 times a day, which is a lot. But for anybody trying to fight an infection naturally, that's kind of what you need to do. I was also adding fresh garlic to my salads, my stir fries, my soups, my smoothies. I was adding fresh garlic to everything. I kind of smelled like a garlic bomb for like 2 days, but you know what? It's better than dealing with the infection. I dropped this in, this is oil of oregano, and it's mixed in organic cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, so that's the highest quality olive oil. I dropped this in a little glass of water and drank and just chugged this, so it's really spicy. This says the serving size is about 4 drops or 0.16 milliliters. I basically did about 10 times that much in a day. Same thing here. This says, this is my local Down to Earth brand. Thank you so much, Down to Earth, for having that. So this is echinacea. It says 1 serving size is 1 milliliter or 30 drops. I did about 10 times that much in water as well. And same thing with golden seal, about 10 times the serving size. Even more maybe. But that's what you have to do when you're fighting an infection naturally. So as I was doing this, I got some clove oil, and this is probably one of the best things for fighting infections. You basically, what I did, I basically just opened the bottle, dropped maybe 3 or 4 drops directly on the tooth area. This burns, it's spicy. If you don't like that burning sensation, I don't recommend it. For me personally, I don't mind that, and I actually prefer I like it because it feels like it's getting to that infection directly. And so I would drop this in and oil pull. So drop the clove oil directly on the tooth, and then take about a tablespoon of pure coconut oil and swish it around in my mouth for a good 15 minutes, spit it out, and then rinse with warm salt water. So the oil pulling, coconut oil, swish it around in your mouth, spit it out, that alongside the warm sea salt, the clove oil, frankincense, oil of oregano, echinacea, and the fresh garlic and the garlic capsules, I feel like really boosted my, really sent me on the way to fighting the infection naturally. On the third day of doing that, the pain actually kind of came back very suddenly, and it was so intense. I didn't want to talk. I was shaking. I was sitting up in bed shaking because the pain was so bad, and I was just going like this. It was so bad. And so luckily the dentist had prescribed me antibiotics, which I should have taken from the get-go, honestly, because if that infection in my tooth got too bad, it could have gone into the jawbone and further into other areas of my body, and that would have been really bad. So I started taking the antibiotics as well, and on about the 5th day of doing everything that I had just mentioned, plus colloidal silver, plus eating a lot of vitamin C, activated charcoal. I was doing so many natural therapies alongside the pharmaceutical antibiotics, and about on the 5th day the pain started going away, and it was just a very throbbing, dull sensation. The last 2 days the pain was still there, but very light, and now it's been 3 days, just 2 days off of the antibiotics, but I feel normal. And I don't know, I did call the Hal Huggins Institute and talk to them, and they recommended, since the tooth has already had so much work done to it, 3 fillings for goodness sake, and there was, or maybe still is, an infection underneath, then it's best to get the tooth pulled. I did go back and get a second x-ray, and it showed that the infection was still there, although it looked like it had significantly decreased. I don't know if the infection will go away. During these past 10 days, what I've seen is that the infection basically is stemming from my tooth, and so that means that the infection, even if it does go away, it might be recurring. And so I think the best option is for me to pull the tooth. I don't want to get a root canal because of the possibility of a dormant infection living underneath and spreading to other areas of my body. I'd rather get a full tooth extraction and then get some kind of safe implant or something in replace of it. Basically, this is everything I've done, and at this point I feel good and I feel normal and I feel fine. There's no inflammation, there's no swelling, and the tooth feels strong. I'm gonna keep doing this for sure, so I'm definitely gonna keep oil pulling once or twice a day. I'm definitely still gonna be taking echinacea and oregano oil and garlic and golden seal every once in a while, and I'm still definitely going to be using clove to help fight that infection, or just to keep my teeth healthy in general. And then I recently ordered some ozonated toothpaste from Nadine Artemis's, what is it called? Living Libations. So you can go to livinglibations.com. She's a friggin' genius when it comes to this dental care routine. And I ordered that ozonated toothpaste. So supposedly it's going to help keep the gums and the teeth and everything strong. I probably will get the tooth pulled in the future, but I will go back and get an x-ray and keep you updated, but at this point I feel like I might just be able to live with the tooth. I'm sure there's going to be dentists seeing this video and not liking it, but you know what? I'd rather have my tooth than a fake tooth, and I definitely don't want a root canal, and I definitely say don't ever get a root canal, guys. Or at least if you do have a root canal, monitor it to make sure that it stays really healthy. And for anyone who's not dealing with a tooth infection but who wants to stay healthy and keep their oral routine up, I highly recommend using the clove oil, the coconut oil, and the sea salt water. So swish with coconut and clove oil, and rinse with warm salt water, and do that maybe 3-4 times a day. Might seem like it takes a lot of time. 15 minutes every time isn't a lot of time. I basically do it when I'm doing house chores, like washing the dishes, sweeping the floor, all of that stuff, or even responding to emails. I'll just be swishing. Hopefully nobody ever comes over and like knocks on the door, which actually happened twice this past week. It was really funny. But if that ever happens, just be like, hold up, give me 10 minutes, whatever. Write it down on a piece of paper. Say, I can't talk for 10 minutes. And, you know, you'll figure out a way to do it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you got a lot out of it. If you did, please comment and share with your friends. And I'd be stoked if you supported me in this venture and everything like that by ordering some of these oils. Super powerful. Everyone should actually have this in their pantry at all times anyway, because they provide a zillion health benefits. And I'll try to put some links up to these other things too, like golden seal, echinacea, aged garlic, and a ton of fresh garlic, and oregano oil, coconut oil, colloidal silver, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.